if you were to take your polo collar and pop it up, pop up the polo collar, that is the definition of prep, definition of looking like you deserve a punch in the face. Today, we are going to talk about my other favorite topic, rich people. My name is Teresa, and this is the old money aesthetic. It's come to my attention that on TikTok and perhaps elsewhere, Gen Z are now romanticizing the old money aesthetic, dressing like they're part of the upper crust, part of the aristocracy, the royals, the top 1%, dressing like WASP. WASPy culture. What is WASPy culture? White Anglo-Saxon Protestant Americans, the country club sect, the Ralph Lauren Polo look, the Kennedys, the Gatsbys, Martha's Vineyard, Cape Cod vacationers, people who have summer homes in the Hamptons, the people who like to play polo, yachts, the yachters, people who subscribe to magazines about yachting, the tennis enthusiasts, the preppies, those of you who go to the country club, wear tiny tennis shorts, a sweater wrapped around your shoulders, a tennis skirt, just the tennis skirt out and about. You are probably Ivy League educated. You probably have a member of your family, an uncle, maybe your father, maybe a third cousin, who is part of the United States Senate, a senator. So that's the vibe. We are going to talk about the preppy country club, generational wealth, Ivy League educated, East Coast rich. Recently, I watched The Gilded Age on HBO Max. Julian Fellow, creator of Downton Abbey, he knows all about old money. His body of work is all about old money. For the elite of New York City during the Gilded Age, they considered it a matter of great pride and dignity to trace your family lineage all the way back to the founding of America, to the Mayflower, the Pilgrims, the forefathers. Their ancestors were the first to set foot on this land, and that made them better. That made them blue bloods. So what does blue blood mean? Taking pride in coming from a lineage of refinement, kind of like dogs. That's why you have best of show, the purebred French bulldog. They didn't marry into the poor, they married into the rich. In Europe, I'm sure you're all familiar with the royals, with keeping that royal bloodline in the family. And what do we get out of this? We got a lot of genetic diseases. I'm not saying that in America, the aristocracy, the very rich amongst us, married their own cousins, although in the 18th century, in the 19th century, maybe they did. But it's the whole belief, the whole vibe that because you've had your money longer and you come from a distinguished family name, like great-great-great-great-grandfather John Jacob Astor was a fur trader in Manhattan. He was able to buy up a lot of land. That made you better than the rest of us peasants. But at the same time, that made you better than the Vanderbilts, the Rockefellers, the new money, the rags to riches story, the people who struck gold out west, the people who became rich off of railroads. And in today's social strata, it made you better than the tech bros that became millionaires within the past 10 years. It made you better than the influencers who became multimillionaires. Rich people, they love to gatekeep against their own kind. You would think that rich people would stick together, and in many ways, they do stick together. The rich against the rich. There's multiple tiers of rich, of quality stock. Old money, new money. East Coast rich, West Coast rich. East Coast rich is always associated with old money, with older generational wealth, because, you know, the Puritans, they came to the East Coast first. The robber barons, the railroad tycoons, the steel tycoons, they all came from the East Coast, from Pennsylvania, from New York City, Boston. In the West, we have prospectors, Okies, who had to migrate because of the Dust Bowl in the 30s. I read a book somewhere. The author's name is Eve Babel. She said, those with brains go to the East Coast, but those with looks go to the West Coast. In America, we like to think we're all equal. There's new money, old money, and then just no money. For the purposes of this video, we're just gonna talk about people with money. Old money, people with a long lineage of generational wealth, and then new money, the upstarts, the rags to riches stories. And with the passage of time, new money will become old money, but old money will still be around. In fact, fact, old money may not even have any money, but they'll still think they're better than new money. And then anyone with all that money will think they're better than people with no money. That's the food chain. That's the pecking order. If your family has founded a town within the past 200-300 years, you're probably old money. If your family has passed down any forms of furniture that could potentially belong in a museum, colonial furniture with expert craftsmanship, and there's a story behind the furniture, or if they've passed down any kind of jewels, historical dress, and paintings, especially paintings. We're talking about paintings from the 1700s, 1800s, a nice landscape. You've got it. You've got old money. Old money is like the talented Mr. Ripley versus Keeping Up with a Kardashian, which is new money. Old money is like the Buchanans of the East Egg or something in The Great Gatsby, and then Jay Gatsby himself, who is new money. Old money is a boarding school education leading up to an Ivy League education, and new money is a meteoric rise in internet celebrity, making you a millionaire. Then you buy your big old house on Hollywood Hills, and your house is not very furnished because you just came into your money, whereas old money is possessing antiques that's been passed down in your family for generations, and a house full of curated paintings that are so valuable that you may have loaned them to the Smithsonian. New money is having a neon sign that says Views or Girl Boss. Old money is having a landscape done by a 19th century painter, Copley, a Singleton, a John Singleton Copley landscape. You might also have a few Greek statues that your ancestors in the 30s snatched up from other countries, from ancient ruins, and those are passed down to you as well. Speaking of which, I remember watching this documentary on Highclere Castle, which is the on-location set of Downton Abbey, and the current owner unearthed this nook and cranny hiding place in which he found some Egyptian artifacts from his great-great-grandfather Howard Carter, who uncovered King Tut's tomb. So that's when you know you have old money, when you live in a castle and then you find random Egyptian artifacts from your famous archaeologist's grandfather. That's when you know that you came from a long lineage of rich people. What do you need to look like you came from generational wealth, like you're a blue blood, like you belong as the 8th cousin twice removed from John F. Kennedy and John F. Kennedy Jr. You need a blazer, a navy blazer. This blazer comes with a crest indicating that you belong to a elite and secret society, the Elks Club, the Masonic Lodge, the Skulls. Navy blazer is classic wasp wear. Usually this navy blazer is paired with khaki chinos and cognac leather penny loafers. If you come from the East Coast and you visit Nantucket, you can trade in your khaki chino for a red chino. It's called the Nantucket Red, and that is the epitome of prep. Old money is all about making friends with your tailor. It's not about buying a bunch of clothes off the rack, much like they received a bunch of paintings and vases and statues and silver and china from their great-great-great-great-grandmother, and these items have to be cared for. So too would they transfer this mentality of quality and care to their clothes. You gotta have that jacket and skirt set. Think Jackie Kennedy, think Coco Chanel, the boxy jacket and suit set. But lately it's been altered to fit the tastes of the new generation. So we're getting a little bit more fitted. The skirt is becoming more of a mini skirt when you are wearing this outfit, and it's cut so that it's a little sexier, that the jacket is not so boxy. The skirt maybe has a slit up the thigh. It looks cute, it looks sexy, but as you start to age, you don't take care of tailoring, it can look very matronly very fast. And this skirt suit set is what I associate with grandma going to church on Easter Sunday. For men, Oxford or brogues, leather shoes, cobbled together on your behalf, something that a prince would wear, something that a duke would wear, an old hunting lodge, the earl striking a debonair pose, in a tweed hunting jacket with leather elbow patches, holding a rifle. Maybe he's standing on the carcass of a buck that he shot, hounds at his feet. A woman wearing a Dior New Look 50s dress with pearls. For the women, I think the 50s, and for the man, for some reason, the 1800s hunter. You have dark academia for the winter, you have coastal grandma for the summer, and then old money interlaps with everything. Old money is very far-reaching because they are all, at its core, old money. Your coastal grandma, she probably comes from old money. How else is she able to afford to live on the coast? I don't even want to tell you how much a beach house would cost. Unless you're in Jersey for some reason, maybe beach houses don't cost that much. But if you're a coastal grandma, everybody thinks you own a house in the Hamptons, a summer home in Nantucket, in Martha's Vineyard. You definitely have that Cape Cod-esque gray shingled cottage, and you like a nice hydrangea bush. You cultivate the hydrangea bush. That is the coastal grandma we all know and love. I don't really know her. I don't even have a grandma like that, but I wish I did. I could inherit her hydrangea bush, and I can't keep plants alive, but I will hire a gardener to tend to this hydrangea bush. So please, if you're a coastal grandma out there, please drop a grandma emoji down in the comments and say that you'll adopt me, because I am putting myself up for adoption. If anybody in the old money family wants to adopt this Asian woman, I don't know what you'll do with me once you adopt me. Maybe you'll raise me. Maybe you'll send me to the Ivy League I never went to, but I want it. I want it. I want to be part of it. I want to wear a tennis skirt even when I'm not playing tennis. Tennis skirt with a cashmere cardigan tied over my shoulder as I dine on bland chicken at the country club. That's what I want. Give it to me. Adopt me. We'll get the paperwork started. I can be your intern, whatever you want me to do, but I won't give you any form of massage with my feet. I won't step on you, because that's probably what somebody who would adopt me would want me to do. According to my notes, the old money wardrobe essential involves pantyhose. Pantyhose could get real matronly and real grandma, and we're not talking about a cool coastal grandma. We're talking about 50s grandma with a girdle real fast. Let's hope you're wearing sheer black pantyhose. You're not wearing the dark flesh colored ones that come in like the old school legs egg. If you pair those pantyhose with a sensible low-heeled pump and you wear a Jackie O suit set, oh dear. You are going to church carrying your little bag on your elbow. If you have one of those hats that the British aristocracy probably gets bestoked by the milliner to go to the royal ascot, and you wear that, basically you look like the queen. You look like Queen Elizabeth II. I mean, obviously she comes from old money. You gotta have that polo gear. You gotta have polo shirt, a rugby shirt, tight riding pants, riding boots with a polo shirt. Then you put a blazer over it, a tweed blazer perhaps with elbow patches. Then when you come back from polo, you might want to go hunting. Because you're old money, you definitely are very comfortable around the stable, around horses. You probably own several horses. You probably own horses in order to stud them out. You probably breed horses. I know the queen loves breeding horses, or at least that's what I learned from watching The Crown. You might be such a good horseman that you can compete in the Olympics. You can jump hurdles. You can do dressage. We don't do dressage in Long Beach. Dressage, which is basically like ballet that you make your horse do. They tiptoe sideways, they lift their hooves. It's very impressive. It's very graceful, I guess, for the horse. But that is definitely part of the trifecta of rich people activities, which is polo, fox hunting, and dressage. The rich are very sporty. All their sports have to do with either boats, with something that requires very expensive equipment, like polo, you need a horse. Yachting, sailing competitions, you need a sailboat. Tennis, I don't know, are tennis rackets expensive? So you gotta have a cardigan. It's an elegant cover-up for your summer dress. And speaking of sweaters, we want a nice fisherman cable knit sweater, because obviously you're a very nautical person. You are definitely not a fisherman. That's for somebody a lot poorer than you. You are out on a yacht. It gets chilly there. You gotta have that fisherman sweater. In order to be a little bit more casual, because you are a nautical person, white tennis shoes, which would go with everything. White tennis shoes with your white pants that you wear before Labor Labor Day. And then you want boat shoes, or if it gets a little bit wet, if you want to go wading in the tide pools for clams, a hunter rain boot. If you were to take your polo collar and pop it up, pop up the polo collar, that is the definition of prep, definition of looking like you deserve a punch in the face. You love a succulent lobster roll. A lobster roll is perfect in your New England summertime clam bake. You also are partial to the crab, bluestone crab, crab cakes. You like mint juleps. You like your rosé. You like sandwiches with just tomato sandwiches, tomatoes and mayonnaise. You would eat a chicken breast, maybe a chicken thigh. The chef will have to come out and pull out the bones of the thigh, or you would never nibble on chicken feet. According to my notes, the preppy sort also really enjoy some Ritz crackers. I feel like Ritz crackers is plebeian food. Ritz crackers is for everyone. Why is that fancy? You would think being rich, you would enjoy something a little healthier, perhaps like a wheat thin. I don't know what kind of crackers rich people like to eat, but it shocked me to find out that Ritz crackers was one of them. As a proper, well-mannered lady, you love pearls. You got your pearl necklace, inherited from your grandma who went to cotillion. Society papers would have her photo out with her date. Miss Maud Merriweather, 16 years old, out in society. Probably have a tennis bracelet, or for more modern day aesthetics, you might have a Cartier Love bracelet, or the Cartier bracelet that looks like a nail. You would have a very discreet Bottega Veneta bag, or you would probably own the Hermes Birkin. And if you're really rich, you would have the Hermes Birkin with a crocodile skin. That's what you would own. And it would be a discreet color. It wouldn't be hot pink. Whatever Jeffree Star's doing, you're not doing it. You would own like an Hermes Birkin that's like black. So basically, you are a patron of designer brands that those who know will know, but the person off the street, the new money types, they would not know. And that's how you could distinguish yourself. That's how you set yourself apart, and that's how you feel better about yourself. You gotta have your antique, your dresser, your wingback couch, your armoire. They have to be a good wood. We're not talking about that IKEA particle board. We're talking about a nice cherry wood, usually a dark wood, a dark oak. Where there is antique furniture, there is also oil paintings, usually of a 17th century sailing ship in a storm, a landscape of the American West. You might also indulge in an impressionist. You might have a Monet, you might have a Van Gogh. You know, common folks amongst us, we have like Hallmark Christmas ornaments, the 2017 special, but you would have like the 1817 special vintage Christmas ornaments. That's what you have. Your servants would go out to the Christmas tree farm and cut the biggest, baddest Christmas tree we can find and prop up the Christmas tree in the Christmas tree nook. Maybe you don't use the fireplace, but it's definitely been used by your ancestors, so you can see a lot of smoky residue from old people when your ancestors would gather around the hearth during Christmas, right next to that Christmas tree enclave, and make merry. Your great-great-grandpa would sit in his chair and he would smoke his pipe, and your great-great-grandma, she likes needle pointing. She would have that round thing. She'd be like, and then the kids would play, or maybe they won't play around you, because back then people didn't treat their kids like we treat our kids today. They didn't like to play with their kids. They stuck their kids up on the third floor with the nanny, with the governess. And sometimes when you're rich, you have multiple sets of plates. You have your heavily used plates for normal everyday. Then you have your mid-tier plates for like maybe immediate family that you don't have to try too hard to impress unimportant people. And then you have like your china for holidays, for special events, for very important people to kind of make them envy and be impressed by you. Okay, this is the dream, guys. I want to be part of this vintage Ralph Lauren campaign of the bold and the beautiful, wearing blazers with elbow patches, wearing rugby shirts, wearing riding boots. It's diverse enough for the 90s, and I want to be part of it because I don't see no Asians in it. I want to basically be like the Wayne family in Batman. The Wayne family is always living in this big gothic mansion, Wayne Manor. So many hidden passageways where you could have have the Bat Cave down below and a butler. That's the dream, guys. I want a butler. I want my own personal Alfred, but I know better. I'm streetwise enough because I come from Long Beach. I know never, ever, ever to go to a movie or a show during a clown riot as seen in Joker with my fur and my pearls, because that's just asking for it. You gotta stay in the Hamptons. You gotta stay in your country club. There's a time and place for pearls, and a clown riot is not one of them. If you liked this video, if it brought you a kernel of entertainment, please do hit that like button, and please subscribe if you haven't already, because I have a lot more fun video ideas in store for you in the coming weeks. Good night and good luck.